Eleanor stepped out of the hospital just after midnight, her hands trembling from the final words the doctor had spoken. She didn't make it. The loss of her mother had struck her core, leaving her wandering the empty streets of the city with no destination and no reason to return home. As she passed a closed flower shop, she noticed a small figure sitting motionless on the cold steps. A boy, no older than 7, clutched a wilted rose in one hand and stared at the ground as if time had forgotten him. She hesitated, then knelt beside him. "Are you all right, sweetheart?" she asked gently. He looked up with tired eyes and said, "I'm waiting for my mom." She said, "If we got separated, I should wait here." The boy's name was Leo, and his mother, as he explained, used to work at the flower shop, but had been taken away in an ambulance weeks ago. With no family, no home, and no clue where she was, Leo had been surviving off scraps in the hope that one day she'd come back. Eleanor, moved by his courage and innocence, offered him her scarf and some crackers from her bag. As he ate silently, she realized the boy had no place to go. Not tonight, maybe not ever. "Come with me," she said, "just for tonight. We'll find your mom tomorrow." If this moment touched your heart, don't wait. Take a moment to be someone's reason to smile. Share kindness today, even in the smallest ways. Back at Eleanor's apartment, the boy looked around cautiously, as if afraid to break something. She gave him a blanket, some warm soup, and a spot on the couch. He thanked her with a shy smile that reminded her of her younger self. Abandoned, bruised, but still believing someone would come. The next morning, Eleanor called social services, but they were overwhelmed and uncertain about when they could help. Days turned into weeks. Leo started school, learned to make scrambled eggs, and began calling Eleanor Ellie. He would leave notes in her purse. "You're the best cook," or "I'm glad I met you." The bond between them grew silently, like roots underground, steady and strong. But Eleanor was still grieving. One rainy afternoon she broke down in the kitchen, and Leo, barely understanding grief, simply stood beside her and said, "Is it your mom in heaven? You can have my rose." He pulled out the crumpled flower he had saved all this time. That moment shattered her. She hugged him tightly and whispered, "Thank you, Leo. That means more than you know." If you're still reading, ask yourself, who needs your warmth today? Is there a Leo near you waiting for someone to notice? Be that person. Share this story if it inspires you to be someone's safe place. Then, one stormy night, the doorbell rang. A woman stood drenched in the downpour, her eyes sunken but filled with hope. "Is Leo here?" she asked. It was his mother. Alive, but weakened. She had been in a coma all this time, and the hospital had no contact information. She had searched everywhere, retracing her steps until they led her to Eleanor's building. When Leo saw her, he froze, then ran and hugged her, sobbing into her coat. But then he turned to Eleanor, confused and scared. "Do I go?" Eleanor knelt beside him and said, "You don't have to choose. You can love us both." From that day on, they became a strange but beautiful family. Leo stayed with his mom but spent weekends and holidays with Eleanor. Years later, during his high school graduation, Leo stepped on stage, pulled out a red rose, and said, "This is for the woman who gave me warmth, hope, and a second chance when I had no one. For Ellie, my other mom." The crowd rose to their feet. Eleanor wept, not from sadness, but from the realization that love truly multiplies when shared. If this story reminded you of the goodness we often overlook, don't scroll past, drop a heart, tag someone who needs this hope, and remember, even in a broken world, one act of kindness can make someone whole. Be someone's Ellie.